Welcome to the show, my friend. Can you believe it is the last day of the year? No matter how your year went or what happened, I hope you can take some of the time to reflect and share some little nugget of gratitude for something or someone in your life right now. I am certainly grateful for you for listening and supporting the show throughout the year, for being interested in how you can elevate your life by traveling, exploring, how you can be the best traveler and the best person you can be. That is the name of the game here at Transform with Travel, learning and growing side by side as we explore the world together. In the very last episode of the year, I'm going to talk about some of the top travel trends as told by you. I'm going to highlight the top 5 most listened to episodes with actionable steps directly from the experts themselves from each episode. And these are all episodes that you have shown me that you are the most interested in. So you truly are the travel trend expert. So I'm going to go in order all the way from 1 to 5, 5 being the most listened to episode out of the entire year. And I'm going to share a little excerpt from each episode, and then I'm going to follow up with some actionable steps from that episode so that you can carry on into 2025 knowing exactly how to bring your visions into realities, how to make your travels feel amazing, and kind of what's next in the travel world. Okay, so let's get started. Number 1 is episode 41 with Jen Hurst. And this episode was all about sober travel and navigating perhaps your first alcohol-free vacation. So be sure to listen to the full episode 41. But for those that want the too long don't read Cliff Notes version, this excerpt that I'm going to share, she really highlights the fact that a lot of us feel like we're going to be missing out on the travel experience if we don't have that pina colada on the beach, or if we're not drinking a beer on the boat, or that we don't have our cocktail after skiing or whatever it is. Jen talks about the idea that you're not missing out by not drinking. You're missing out if you are drinking. If you're hungover, you're numbing your senses through the alcohol. I mean, we all know what that's like when you're hungover the next day and you're really not there. You're just trying to get through minute by minute without throwing up, right? So are you even present on your vacation? Are you even there if you're drinking? And this is what she's going to tell us right now.
But I missed out on so much of that, especially the next day. I remember we went to the mountains and saw like the elk and everything like that, and I felt like crap. I felt like I was going to throw up. And it's like you're really missing out on all of that. And I wasn't able to fully experience. And I think that's what drinking does, is it really takes you away from the simple joys of life. And I know that can sound woo-woo, but really as living in the country now, I get so much joy with being outside and so much joy from like animals and sunshine. And I know that sounds, but it's really, that's where true happiness is it's really in those simple things. And I was just too numb to experience it.
Yeah.
I felt like I needed alcohol to relax, to enhance the experience. And it's totally the opposite. I mean, if you know what alcohol does, it doesn't relax you. It actually makes you more anxious. I mean, if you think of the very nature of going on vacation, is you spend all this money to go on vacation and you get the resort, or you schedule all these things, or maybe it is just to sit on the beach. But they also have amenities and things you can do, or whether that's, go swimming or go surfing or all of those things. It's like you're really missing out on all of that because you're not fully present for that. You're not really getting your money's worth. Because either you're drinking, which takes you away from who you are in the experience, or else you're hungover in bed and feel tired. So you don't really have the energy to do the things and experience this exotic location. Or maybe it is, I'm going to go to Wisconsin. Oh my gosh, there's amazing things that you can do in Wisconsin or Iowa or North Dakota or Seattle. That's where we're going this summer. I mean, so many things. And I can do that because I have energy. I'm not tired unless I get a crappy night of sleep because of perimenopause. That's another topic. But at least I know I didn't do this to myself, and I think that's the joy of sobriety.
Okay, so if you've listened to that and you are curious about what it's like to not drink on vacation and just see how good you can feel, how present you can be, how to really get a positive ROI on the investment that is your vacation, a couple of tips that she gave throughout that episode, and I highly recommend you go back and listen, is making sure that you just write your plan down, like write your intention down. Why do you want to do this? And just set your boundary, know what your boundaries are. Are you going to go to bed after dinner? Are you going to go out for one nightcap where you have a mocktail and then go back to your room? Making sure that you have your boundaries in place. And then the next part of that is communicating that to your travel partners, whether it's your romantic partner, whether it's a group of friends, whether it's your family, your extended family, communicating what your plan is and that your goal is to not drink on this vacation. So hopefully, they don't pressure you, they don't make you feel bad, and you're being very clear about what your goals are to start. We'll get back to the show in just a moment. At the end of every episode, I always ask my guests what their favorite must-have travel item is. And I want to take a quick moment to share with you one of mine, a travel companion that's just as essential as your passport, Arch Rome Right Travel Insurance. Whether you're exploring the vineyards of Italy or trekking through the Andes, travel is thrilling and transformative. But sometimes unexpected events can put a pause on our plans. That's where Arch Rome Right steps in. With a focus on specialized travel insurance solutions, they're here to assist you in navigating those unforeseen travel hiccups. I once was stuck in the middle of an island in Indonesia during a massive earthquake, and we lost personal belongings, 3 months worth of accommodation, and we racked up expenses with last minute flights and hotels. I only wish I knew about Arch Rome Right travel insurance back then. From trip cancellations and medical emergencies to lost luggage and delays, Arch Rome Right offers insurance plans that cover what matters most, and most importantly, gives you peace of mind. Each plan is backed by Arch Insurance's strong financial ratings and a team dedicated to exceptional customer service, recognized for their expertise and responsiveness. But what truly sets Arch Rome Right apart? Their innovative approach combines state of the art technology with real human experiences, providing you with transparent and swift service. Join the millions who trust Arch Rome Right and make your next trip a little smoother. Head to the show notes to find and use my personal affiliate link to get a quote today. Thanks to Arch Rome Right for supporting our show. The next one was preparing for travel day. So a lot of us feel really triggered by the airport. And so she talks a lot about in this episode things that you can do at the airport to mitigate that, making sure you're walking around, not sitting for too long, having a good sobriety book on audio so that you can plug your AirPods in and walk around the airport, making sure you have your snacks that are high in protein so you don't get the sugar cravings. She goes into so much of this, so make sure to listen to the episode for that. And then the last one is really about turning FOMO into JOMO. So turning that I'm missing out by not drinking into, wow, I'm gaining so much by not drinking. And Jen calls this the get to mentality. What do I get to do because I'm not drinking on vacation? So that really showed me that sober curiosity, alcohol-free vacations, that this is definitely a growing trend. If it was out of all the episodes in 2024, one of the top listened to episodes. So be sure to check that out, episode 41. Now, the next most listened to episode was episode 48 with Susan Winograd. This is a relatively new episode. And this episode is all about how to feel at your absolute best while traveling, the secret hacks and health hacks that you can do so that you feel amazing pre, during, and post travel. So listen to this clip here.
One of the things that I talk about is so that your vacation life and your real life is there's not such a disparity, is to try to stick to your routine somewhat while you're on vacation, even if it's a condensed version of that. I'm not a huge traveler, but when I do go away, I'd like to be, but when I do go away, I do try to stick to my routine as much as I can. Do I wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning? No, but if I wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm still doing the same things. I'm getting my early morning sunlight. I'm exercising in the morning. I'm setting myself up with my regular life daily routine so I can feel great and enjoy the rest of my day on vacation.
And so what she really talks about here is what are your routines at home that make you feel good and how can you integrate that or commit to that on your travels? And she's not overly prescriptive. She's not telling you that you need to do your 6 a.m. routine, whether you're at home or whether you're in Spain, but maybe taking a condensed version of that down. Do you do breath work every morning while you're at home? Well, maybe you can do a 5-minute version of that while you're on vacation. Do you wake up at 6 a.m. every day? Okay, well, maybe on vacation you can wake up at 8 a.m. every day and do a very condensed version of your morning routine. Another thing that I think is important is looking at if you take supplements at home, maybe you take one for digestion, maybe you take a zinc, maybe you take magnesium for sleep. I'm not saying travel with your entire, medicine cabinet, but maybe you can pick out your top 2 or 3 most important supplements to feel good and make sure you're bringing that with you. And then the last thing that I love that she touched on so many times is just hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. It is the easiest thing that you can do to make sure you feel your absolute best, and just making sure that you're constantly getting in that hydration so that you can sleep better, so that you can digest better, so that you can feel better. So the next most listened to episode was episode 38. And this is all about family travel and truly about kind of taking more of a longer extended travel experience. This is with Annika Paradise. She was one of the co-authors of the book, The Wonder Year. And she talks about how the benefits of going on an extended travel experience with your children, the benefits not just to the children, but also for the parent. She talks a bit about some of the logistics of it, but truly the bulk and the magic of the how-tos, how to even make this a reality, comes in her book that's so highly recommended. Again, that's called The Wonder Year. So just take a quick listen to this clip where she discusses some of the benefits that she saw personally from her own family, between her relationship with her and her partner, between the relationship with her and her kids, and more. Can you, talking of benefits of a Wonder Year from your own personal experience, of course, but what were some of the top things that you walked away from that you didn't really, maybe you didn't expect that to be one of the biggest benefits of having all that time together and traveling the world together?
Well, I'll start with my husband and I, because I do feel like, we had to relate to each other on such a different level. Like, it had to be teamwork. And you're together 24/7. It's kind of like that COVID thing, right? Where all of a sudden you're like, wow, I have never spent so much time with you.
Right?
And so that was a great thing, because we had our roles at home. And then all of a sudden it was like totally rejiggered the roles and responsibilities within our relationship. And I think that ultimately strengthened our marriage. For sure, it did.
Personally, for me, traveling for 5 weeks at a time, 6 weeks at a time with my own kids, although they're much younger than Annika's, I just found this clip, these benefits, to be so true. And I love that she shared that experience between her and her partner as well. My biggest actionable step from this is just buy her book. Read The Wonder Year. It is jam-packed with education, with statistics, with personal anecdotes, also with the how-tos of the logistics to how to even make something like that a reality. And the second clip I wanted to share with you is her experience of reverse culture shock. And this is something that I've lived in 4 different continents. I've traveled all over the world. I 100% related to this. And this is her experience with what culture shock was like coming home. The reverse culture shock, I think, is harder sometimes than the culture shock going to the new country, because you're expecting it to be different.
Exactly.
And you're coming home and you're not expecting you to be different anymore.
And I think the people around you are not expecting that it will be difficult. And so, if you're coming back to the same place, where you lived before, people are just like, oh, you're home. We can continue as we did before. But they don't realize how much you have changed.
One of the biggest actionable steps that I can give to you if you're planning a long-term travel experience, whether it's a month, whether it's a year, is making sure that you find a community at home that you can plug back into so this experience isn't so jarring. So perhaps there is an expat community that meets up. Maybe there's an online community that you can tap into. There's tons of online communities, but truly you want to find the places and the spaces so that your experience of what it's like to re-enter back into your home country, that you feel like you're not alone, that it's not just a you problem, and that you feel like you have that community of people that understand what it's like to re-enter back into your home country. In the new year, many of us are setting resolutions and embracing new challenges, like dry January. But just because you're cutting back on alcohol doesn't mean you have to miss out on the joy of cracking open a great beer on your next vacation. That's where Best Day Brewing comes in. Brewed in Northern California and crafted for the doers, the trailblazers, the early risers, the adventurers, yes, that's you, Best Day creates the perfect non-alcoholic beer for life's special moments. Whether you're relaxing on the beach or celebrating a great day on the slopes, life is chock full of moments that deserve a great beer, but not the booze. And let me tell you, Best Day delivers with the world's best tasting craft beer, minus the alcohol. You get all the flavor and none of the compromise. I've been alcohol-free for over a year, and Best Day has been my best bud throughout this process of feeling better than ever. Their Kolsch, Electro Lime, and Hazy IPA are my go-to favorites. Learn more and shop at bestdaybrewing.com or at bestdaybrewing on Instagram. Cheers to your best day yet. Number 4 on the list of the most listened to episodes of 2024 is episode 37 with Gabby Arbisu. And in this episode, she talks about how to become unapologetically yourself. And the overall theme for me is questioning the way things need to be. We're constantly told that you go to school and then you go to college and then you get married and then you have the kids and then you have the job and you know, the natural order of things, or as told by the powers that be. And she is the type of woman to not take that lightly. She always is questioning the way that things need to be and questioning herself, what feels good and what doesn't feel good. And I really love how candid and vulnerable she is in this conversation. So take a listen to one of her most powerful clips here.
It's such a cringy story. It's kind of funny, but I saw the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants.
Oh yeah, okay.
And she went to Greece and I was like, I want to go somewhere like that. And to me, like I had been to different places with my family, but nothing that ever made me go, wow, where is that? And how can I learn more about the culture and the people? And I don't know how old I was, but I know I was like in middle school when I saw that. And I printed out pictures of Greece on my wall, as we did. We tape it to like the ceiling. I would stare at it.
And then your dad gets mad at you because the paint's gonna rip it off.
Literally. I put like 30 pictures on my wall. And after that, I think it was more so like I would just think about it like every single day in school. Like, all right, I'm gonna get out of high school, go to college, and then I'm gonna travel. And I didn't have a plan as to like where or when or how. And I didn't even know what that would entail. Because at that time, like, there wasn't social media. Yeah, there was the internet, but, like, no one that I knew as a kid would talk about travel or do it. Don't listen to anyone else's advice. Everyone's going to have their 2 cents, whether they've been there or they haven't. The only person that's going to be able to experience it fully is you. And I always have to revert back to, like, my own experiences for a reference. But if I listened to anybody's advice, I wouldn't have gone anywhere. I wouldn't have done anything. And even the people that tell me, oh, go, but go now because you're not going to want to go later. Like even like the somewhat positive advice, like grain of salt in one ear, out the other. You just have to really know you and what you want, where you want to go and why. You'll figure it out. You have to trust yourself because everyone else is going to have their own bias.
The thing that I take away the most from this is you have to get clear on what it is that you want and put the blinders on. And how you do that is by building trust within yourself. And what does that even mean? How do you build trust within yourself when people all around you are telling you to take the safe road, to take the path that's most traveled? And it's by surrounding yourself with expansive people, finding people within your community who are doing the things that are most related to what you want to do, who are doing things that are a little unconventional. Surround yourself with those people. Again, maybe that's in real life and maybe that's online. Another way to get closer to yourself, get closer to your authentic self, is getting quiet. So practices like meditation, breath work, being out in nature. For some people, it's surfing. For some people, that's dance. Like finding something that helps you get closer to the light that's within you, your own unique light. And only ask people opinions who have walked the walk or have walked a similar walk. Don't ask people if you should or shouldn't do something who have only followed the safe route. You can almost always guarantee the answer they're going to give you. And it might be the thing that sways you from going after your dreams or not going after your dreams. And there's one quote that a friend of mine, Megan McCaskill, if she's listening here, that she recently wrote to me in a message that has been honestly shaking my entire world up. But she wrote, "The life that I've been living isn't the only one available." And I think that really is a good encapsulation of what Gabby's episode is all about, is you have so many possibilities out there for yourself and you don't have to follow the quote unquote safe or normal route. And the most listened to episode of the year was episode 47 with Henley Vasquez. She is the CEO of Fora. And we talk about what the future of travel is. And Fora is the modern travel agency and has travel advisors in their company from all over the world. And we talk a lot about what it means to be a travel advisor in 2024, what that might look like from a marketing perspective, the value of community within the travel advising community. We also talk about the travel trends that are coming up for the year and what we're seeing from a data perspective, like what people are actually booking, what's coming up, and what we can look out for 2025. So listen to this.
Look, obviously, like Italy's going to always be popular.
Right.
But something that we noticed in our data after last summer is that Amalfi Coast was so busy that actually now when I look at what like our top destinations in Italy are for this summer, it's a little bit more off the beaten path. It's Tuscany on the coast. It's Umbria instead of Siena. It is, Sardinia, which by the way will completely blow up by next summer. All these brands are coming in. Go this summer before everything gets more expensive and busy. So it's people who are looking for, yes, I want to go to Italy, but I want something that's a little bit off the beaten path. Another one is Bhutan, which is it's so far flung. People often don't even know how to get there, but I think it's that combination of sort of activity and hiking and being outdoors, somewhere that feels very like safe and sort of away from the worries of the world, and spirituality and discovering some of that. Bhutan is not a place that was frequently booked. We're booking it left and right now, which is exciting.
What I take from this is that the hot destinations are hot for a reason, but there are so many other beautiful places around the world that may give you a more authentic connection. Working with a travel advisor that specializes in that area of the world will help you get beneath the surface a little bit more and give you the trip of your dreams. So, for example, I specialize in Asia Pacific. So, South Asia, Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand, Pacific Islands. That is something that I know when I close my eyes exactly what street my clients will walk on to get to the certain restaurant in Chiang Mai, right? Like you want to work with somebody like that and they can really give you that experience of getting beneath the surface, which is a big trend right now. And then listen to this other trend that Henley discusses.
I love that we can maybe take some snobbery out of travel, because sometimes it can seem like, especially when we're talking on travel podcasts and travel blogs, that it's like we're talking about these really exotic places like Sardinia and Bhutan, and that's great. Like I love those places. However, for a lot of people, like with their time and their lives and their budget, like maybe just going even to like a local hotel in their own city and doing a staycation for a night is kind of where it's at for them. And I like don't want to ever treat that like it's not travel, because there's something so special about, again, feeling at home anywhere in the world, but also being able to like not go that far from home and get to be a different version of yourself. So if you're a mom, it's maybe doing that staycation with some girlfriends and sitting by the pool all day and having a bottle of rosé together and having a little checkout from your life so that you can check back in, but you didn't have to go that far. And I think that it's so nice to be able to pull that snobbery out of it and say, travel, there's different times to travel for different things, and every single bit of it is worth it.
I love this because this helps you realize that we don't need to overlook the value of simple travel. It doesn't have to be extravagant. A traveler's mindset can be cultivated in your own backyard. So what I recommend is take a look at your year ahead. Take a look at 2025 and see where you can insert small micro adventures. Does your son have a soccer tournament in Orlando? Take a few days to visit the beautiful, stunning springs nearby. You have a wedding in Montana, add a couple extra days before or after and do some hiking, or stay at a beautiful resort and relax. Are all your mom friends free that same weekend? Just drive an hour north and literally veg out in an Airbnb and do nothing. That is like a dream come true for moms, right? Simple is just as valuable. Do not overlook that. All right, that's a wrap on my top 5 most listened to podcast episodes. I hope that this gives a little glimpse of what we're the most interested in, right? So we talked about sober travel. We talked about how to stay healthy and feel amazing while we're traveling. We talked about family travel and how to maybe make that an extended experience. We talked about getting beneath the surface and questioning the way things need to be and how we're living our life, what that looks like, where that looks like. And then the most listened to is we're the most interested in what's happening in the future of travel. I think we are a population of people that have lived through multiple unprecedented times and we are just trying to make sure that the future of travel remains open and free and expansive. And this is what the episode was really giving us, that hope that we have so much to look forward to and so many creative ways that we can bring travel into our lives, whether that's a trip to Bhutan or whether that's a trip just an hour north to the beach. And I also hope that you were able to take some of the top tips that I extrapolated from each episode and turn that into actionable steps so that you can make 2025 your most traveled year yet. I would love, love, love to hear what's on your bucket list for 2025. Where are you dreaming about? Where are you traveling to? What do you want to create? Please just shoot me an email at transformwithtravel@gmail.com and let me know. I want to interact with all of my amazing listeners and get a sense of, like, with a finger on the pulse, like, where are we going to in 2025? I would love that so, so much. If you'd like to do one last good deed, one last act of kindness before the end of 2024, please write a review or leave a rating on whatever podcast app you're listening from. It would seriously make my whole year to see your feedback from the podcast and see what you have to say. This year has been such a joy for me to share with you and learn with you, and I hope you are leaning into a season of rest and recovery as the holidays come to a close. So, I will see you next year.